Good afternoon, Mr. Bard. How are you?
Fine, how you doing?
The Committee on Parole is reconvening at Hunt Correctional Center, time is 2:06, with their staff at Elaine Hunt. Please introduce yourself.
Chrissy LeBlanc, classification.
Joe Buttress, assistant warden.
Thank you, Warden. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, sir.
Great. Mr. Bard, would you please introduce yourself and give us your DOC ID number?
Yes, my name is Thurman L, DOC 359824.
Thank you, Mr. Bard. My name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Mrs. Bonnie Jackson. To my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. You're here for a parole hearing. Let me explain the information to you. I will read some information into the record to verify that information. At the appropriate time, we'll allow the staff at Elaine Hunt to make comments or observations. Then before we vote, we'll give you a chance to make a brief statement on your behalf. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bard, you are a second felony offender. You're currently, what, 48 years old?
Yes. About to turn
And your offenses are possession with intent to distribute cocaine, and you were sentenced in Caddo Parish on February 1st, 2010, and you received a 30-year sentence. Also in Caddo Parish, possession of a firearm by a certain person convicted of a felony, and that was on February 1st, 2010. You received a 10-year sentence to run concurrently with your 30-year sentence. And then the same day, Caddo Parish, I'm sorry, a different date, in Caddo Parish on February 18th, 2011, you were convicted of second-degree kidnapping. You received a 20-year sentence. That sentence also ran concurrent with the other two. Your total sentence, 30 years. Your parole date was May 25th, 2019. Your adjusted good time date, November 27th, 2028. And your full term date, May 15th, 2039. Is all this information correct?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Jackson. Would you please answer Mrs. Jackson's question?
Good afternoon, Mr. Boyd. My name is Bonnie Jackson. Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll start the questioning for the board. How old are you, Mr. Boyd?
48 years of age.
And you served approximately 13 years of this 30-year sentence. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I thought it was 14, but ma'am.
I said approximately. I have 13 plus, so it's not quite 14, but it's more than 13. Okay. I'm going to cut right to the chase, Mr. Boyd, because when I read the incident involving Ms. Walker, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was horrified. This is an extremely violent attack on this victim. You beat her with a metal baseball bat. You forced her into a vehicle. She and her young child had to jump out of the vehicle. And then after she was able to free herself and contact the police, you left some voice messages with Ms. Walker that were very threatening I'm not gonna use all the language you used, but you called her a rat and a crackhead. You told her days were limited. And, you know, she's told, if you call them, I'll get your family. She had a black eye that was swollen shut. She sustained numerous bruises to her arms, consistent with being struck by a bat. A witness at the Valero gas station says that she saw the victim and a baby jump from a moving vehicle and run towards the gas station. She was able to get your license plate number. So this was just a horrible, horrible crime. So please tell us, why would you do that to this woman?
Well, Mr. Jackson, at that time and age, I would say that I wasn't a grown man.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
At that time and age, I can say that my actions and my thoughts was not of a grown man. I lived a pretty hard life, and most of the things that I thought was right or mature or what a man should do wasn't. A lot of it was because of ignorance. Since I've been incarcerated, I've had time to reflect on my past actions. Even the incident with this Walker. And now I understand that where it wasn't right at all. It wasn't right.
What set this off? I mean, what would make you so angry that you would beat a woman with a metal baseball bat? I mean, what happened in your mind that made you angry enough to think that that was what you needed to do?
Well, at that time, where I was under influence of drugs at the time, I was drinking, using drugs. So my thought wasn't clear. And the anger, that is something that I've had to try to understand myself. Because me and Ms. Walker, our relationship, it had its ups and downs. And like I said, at that time, I was very ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
Did you grow up in a household with domestic violence?
No, ma'am. That's the thing. No. There was no violence in my household. The only violence that I seen was pretty much in my community.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. You have a previous manslaughter conviction, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about that.
That occurred in 1993. At that time, I was young of age, involved in gangs, drugs, pretty much running with the wrong crowd.
Who did you kill and how did you end up killing them?
I think the victim I think his name was Jeffrey Ware. And it was drug related. A drug deal gone bad, trying to rob him.
Well, explain to me what kind of drug deal and how did it go bad?
I attempt to robbed Mr. Webb in the process of kidnapping him, holding him for ransom for some money and drugs.
And why did you kill him?
At that time, Ms. Jackson, I felt what I did was right, but it wasn't. I took a life. I took a life behind drugs and money.
How old was the person that you killed?
Ma'am,
How old a person was the victim?
I wasn't, I'm not
If you
sure,
had to, how old do you think he was? If you had to guess.
maybe late 30s.
Did he have a family,
Yes, ma'am.
children?
I'm not sure. I know he had a girlfriend. I don't know if he had any kids.
And you said that was in 1993.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you serve a prison sentence for that charge?
Yes, ma'am.
How long?
I received a 10-year sentence. I think I served 5.
And how old were you when you came to prison on that charge?
I had just turned 19.
And you stayed in prison 5 years. And you got out, and what did you do when you got out? Well, you do. How did you?
Yes, ma'am. I worked. Well, I maintained, I want to say maybe 4 jobs over the 10-year period that I was out.
And what kind of jobs?
One job was at a grocery store, county market, I was a food stopper. I did that for like a year and a half. Then I worked at Azalea Cleaners. I did that for about 2 years. And then I moved on to Bros Collision. And I stayed there 1 year. And eventually I'm going back to Azalea Cleaners for maybe the last 7 years.
Why did you get back into drug dealing?
I pretty much went back to my old environment and started hanging around the old crowd. And even at that time, after coming home, serving that time there, it seemed like I just got sucked back out in it. I'm not gonna say it was forced on me. I pretty much I accepted it. But like I said, then I lived a life that I thought was right. I thought, okay, this here had to be done in order for me to make it.
So let's move forward. I see. How long have you been where you are serving your time right now? How long have you been away?
Well, I just made it here maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago.
Where have you spent the majority of your time?
where I've been moved around from several detention centers. I want to say maybe 3 years at Richwood Detention Center. I did 2 years at Claiborne Detention Center. I did, I think, 3 or 4 years at Winfield Correctional Center. And Platinum, I think I did like 3 years. So I've been moved around from several detention centers.
Is that why you have so few programs?
Ma'am,
Is that why you have so few programs? I see you've done some college courses. I'm not sure in what. I'm not sure in what. But the only good time program I see is Cage Your Age. I don't see that you've taken a lot of those kinds of programs. Thinking for a Change, Cage Your Age, Living in Balance. I don't see a lot of those programs. Why is that?
where most of the detention centers that I went to,
Mhm.
their rules and requirements are stipulated with your time. Most of the places that I went to, they told me I had too much time to have their program.
Gotcha. So really part of it is because you've never been at a DOC institution before now.
Yes, ma'am. Cause it ain't like I've been wanting and seeking help, but
I'm gonna tell you what my concerns are. And some of these things are not your fault, and other things you don't have any control of. You know, I am concerned about your history of violence. That's concerning to me. This was a very violent crime, and you've already, taken a life before, and that's concerning to me. You do have a lot of opposition from the legal community, but you can't do anything about that. Interestingly enough, Ms. Walker is not opposed. She absolutely wants nothing to do with you, and I can certainly understand how she feels that way. And that you just haven't taken enough programs to really address some of your needs. But that's not your fault because you've been moved around so much. But those are concerns that I have. It'll be very difficult for me to vote for you, particularly in light of the fact that I just think you need a lot more program, a lot more work. I just feel like it's a lot more that you need to do to prepare yourself for being out there, but more importantly, to live a law-abiding life and to not, respond to violence in situations. And again, some of these things were beyond your control, and I understand that. However, you are at a place now where you have the opportunity for some programming. And I hope that you will take advantage of every program that you are. Today, for me, I'm not going to be able to vote for you. You've got to get some better equipment in your tool belt, so that when you get out, you don't fall. It's so easy to fall back in the old pattern. It is. You know that. You've been in prison for a long time. You tried to do well for a while, and you ended up back with the same people doing the same old things. And you've got to have some tools, some skills to help you. Maybe some vocational skills. It's hard out here in the world. Inflation is real. You got to be able to get a good job. So some vocational training will go a long way to help you be more successful. Minimum wage job, a person cannot live on. Right now, that's what you're stuck with because of your criminal record and your educational level. So there are a lot of things that you need to work on for yourself, not so much just to get out of here, but to get out and be successful. So my vote is not going to be for you, but I am going to encourage you to do everything in your power to get the kind of programs that you know that you need. So that's all I have.
Mr. Freeman? Mr. Bard, would you like to, well, first of all, Ward, would you like to, I know it's only been that two or three weeks or months.
Mr. Chairman, I won't take up much time. As he stated, he's been with us for a little under a month. You know, he's still going through the reception process, but to Ms. Jackson's point, I think that once he completes the reception process, that we can certainly place him permanently in either our facility or another state facility that has, you know, the resources and programming that he needs.
I'm glad to hear that.
So Ward, you hadn't even finished the intake process.
No, sir. He's fresh. He's fresh into us. So.
Okay. Mr. Bard, you
Yes,
want
sir.
to give a brief statement?
I said, well, y'all pretty much, y'all have my history in front of y'all. And
Thank you, Mr. Bard. You want to, okay, go.
Ms. Jackson, I understand your concerns about the rehabilitation of the self-help program. I understand it. I really do. And I understand what you meant about my anger and but I would like to say, over these years, I really have had time to think and reflect on my past. Now, even though I haven't took many courses, I have got my associate degree from Ashland. Just got that April 28th. And I would like to say Ashland College has been an eye-opener for me. So most of the course that I took in Ashland has opened my mind to a lot of my behaviors and my actions and why I thought the way I thought and did what I did in the past. And at the same time, that's helped me understand how to make change. Now, Ashland College has been the best thing since I've been incarcerated that it happened to me. So which I'm still enrolled so far. I'm still enrolled in Ashland. And I will continue my education, well, hopefully to get my master's.
Very good.
But like I say, I understand, yeah, I do need help and work. And I will take advantage. Hopefully I stay here. I would like to stay here, go to the DOC facility to get the help that I need. And I said, well,
Is that it?
yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay, Bard. I like that smile, Mr. Bard. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Well, Mr. Boyd, you already know what my vote is and what my thoughts are. I think you got a history of violence that you're gonna have to overcome, but primarily for me, I just think you need more programming and I think you're finally in a place where you can get that. I'd love to see, and I'm glad you've done all that introspection. I'm glad Ashland University has been helpful for you. But there are just so many amazing vocational education programs now in the DOC. And you can get in one of those programs and you come out with a skill that you can get a job, almost immediately. So my vote is gonna be to deny because of your history of violence and your need for more program. But I'm gonna be pulling for you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Freeman.
I'm gonna tell you, you definitely are well spoken. You're a gentleman that I know could pass classes and could become a success, but you do need these programs. Warden Buttress, I would hope that y'all would get him into them immediately and not move him again. And as soon as you get 2 or 3 of them under your belt, reapply. Because I think you do have a future in front of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Boyd, I am in agreement with my colleagues. In a good place. Warden Buttress and Warden Butler. And basically, you need to enroll in as many classes as you can. When you complete those classes, reapply. And I'm almost sure it's going to be a different story next time. My vote is to deny. You have received 3 votes to deny your request. Your request has been denied. You have a good day, Warden Buttress. I think this completes our work at Elaine Hunt Correctional, and I want to thank you for accommodating us on the spur of the moment.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Help.
Now,